It's school holidays, so I'm making sure that our pantry is stocked with snacks for the kids. So I'm just going to show you today a nice recipe that we do for sweet potato muffins. Zoe will be assisting me. There we go, now we can see a little bit better. This is a good way to get extra vegetables into the kids. Muesli bars and stuff, even when you buy them very cheap, are more expensive and a lot less healthy than making from scratch. I bake things like muesli bars and stuff for my kids myself as much as possible. Sometimes I buy the other stuff for convenience reasons and because, you know, they think it's a really special treat to actually buy the thing from the supermarket in a box. Or I will get it from Food Care for really, really cheap, like cheaper than I can make it for, or at about the same price, and so for the convenience factor I do get it. Zoe's doing a great job here and mushing up all the stuff. Well done. So we've got 1.5 cups of mashed sweet potato, which is about 380 grams. So you obviously steam it first. We will get 2 eggs. Zoe, would you like to crack the eggs?
Yes.
These freeze really well, and so this will make up about 24, and we'll just keep a few out and freeze the rest, and then they're conveniently on hand for whenever you need them. Also, if your kids help you bake, it's a learning experience for them, and it's also a good holiday activity to keep them entertained. My kids do enjoy baking with me. I usually have at least one other one, but the others didn't want to help me bake this time, so that's fine. One of them's running around over there, and I don't know where the other one is. So 1/2 cup of natural yogurt. Lop it in. So as with all kind of baking recipes, you put the wet ingredients in one, the dry ingredients in the other, mix them both and then put them together. Then 1/2 cup of milk. Can you hold that there, please? Thank you. There you go. And then we just add in our sweet potato. Now because it's got the sweet potato, it's quite a sweet recipe, just sweetened with a vegetable, which is like totally cool. Which means it doesn't need all that much sugar, which I really like. So this whole recipe has, I think it's 1/2 cup of sugar, 1/4 cup of sugar, and that's for like almost 24 muffins. So that's probably like maybe 1/4 to 1/2 a teaspoon of sugar in each muffin. And a muesli bar that you would buy would have, even the low sugar ones would have maybe 2 teaspoons of sugar, and any muffins you buy would have like stacks. And now for our dry ingredients.
What's that?
Brown sugar.
That's my favorite.
Yeah.
Can we have a little taste?
Oh, alright. Did
Me
you wash
too?
your hands? Yes. So just dip your finger in like that.
Me too.
Yes. There's always one that takes it too far. Coconut oil in the wet ingredients. So coconut oil. 1. 2. Coconut oil has a really low melting temperature. So you're not trying to scoop it out of the jar. I just stick the jar in boiling water, and then it's all nice and liquidy, and then I just put it back in the pantry when we're done with it, and it solidifies again.
1.5 cups plain wholemeal flour.
That's right. So I got this nice stone ground organic flour from Food Care for 70 cents. Usually I would just buy the Woolworths wholemeal, which is $2. Okay, Rachel, did you want to do this one?
Oh yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
And then half fill.
Ching.
Thank you.
What if we accidentally put a bit too much in?
Then we would just take it back out. Okay, 1/4 cup of wheat germ. Not everyone stocks wheat germ, but it is really high in fibre. Basically that means it helps you poop. And I'm sure many parents have had the struggle of children not pooping. So I like to add wheat germ into things. A little bit of cinnamon. Would you like to shake in the cinnamon? And Zoe, you can do the next.
Tell me when it's enough.
Yeah, just a bit more. Okay. So Zoe, you're going to put in a teaspoon of baking powder.
I can barely even see myself. Like,
Yeah, that's perfect.
Oh.
No, wrong one.
What are we gonna do?
Yeah, just give that a really good mix.
Da, da, da. Look, the
Hopefully that doesn't matter.
face.
Just to maybe make up for it, we'll put an extra. So shake just a little bit of salt in.
I'll be back.
Yep.
In 2 seconds.
You only need a tiny bit of that.
Awesome.
And a teaspoon of vanilla extract.
Ooh, 1 cup.
Yep, there we go.
Today, instead of it, you can either do 1 cup of walnuts or chopped chips. We're deciding to do chopped chips because barely any of us in this family like nuts.
So this is the part where I add in extra things if I want to. So I've got some almond meal here. So that's just a really good healthy fat to get into the kids. It's also full of protein and it will help keep them full for longer. At this point I usually add in things also like chia seed and flaxseed and that kind of thing, but I'm not actually going to do that this time. And if I get a bit too ambitious and put in too much, the kids won't eat it, which is always very disappointing. So a little bit of almond meal this time is enough. And because I add in different amounts, depending on what I decide to do, sometimes the recipe might just end up being a bit thick. So if that's the case, you just add a little bit more milk. Now we fluff that in together.
Just towards the camera.
Zoe, you mixed that? So it is looking pretty thick, so I will just add in a little bit more milk to that. So you can experiment with the sweetness. Some people definitely prefer a sweeter muffin, and that's fine, so just add in more brown sugar. Okay, so that is still pretty thick, but that's more the consistency we're after. And now we add in the fun bit.
Oh, I want to add it.
Alright, hold on.
Me.
So that you don't add too much. Yes, you can each have a taste. Okay, Zoe, you can put in the dark chocolate chips. And I'll give you guys a chocolate chip in a minute. So put them in. And Rachel, you can add in the white chocolate chip. If you want this to be a little bit healthier, instead of the chocolate chips, you can do walnuts, any nuts really, or sultanas if you still want something sweet. But this is a treat for the kids, so that is why we are putting chocolate chips in it. Oven's on about 120, and the girls have laid out the patty pieces for me. And so yeah, we'll just do a good scoop. So you want about that much in there? Just standard cupcake type thing. And then yeah, it goes in the oven for about 20 minutes. I keep an eye on it and then I give it a little poke, and if it springs back, then it means it's ready. Next we're making banana and oat muffins. What I do is I buy bananas when they're on a really good special, or I get them for free from Food Care and I stock up on them. You peel them, cut them up, and then you can freeze them. So there's my banana. And then use them in baking. So usually I will buy them over the spring and summer when they're cheap. Sadly, we are only just at the end of our first month of winter, and this is my last lot of banana. So I'm a little bit sad about that. So I may just occasionally have to buy banana at full price when I want to bake it. But I do have a fair bit of applesauce that I made up myself. We have apple trees in the area. I went around with the kids picking apples, and then we peeled them all together and stewed them and vitamized them, and I've got lots of applesauce. I do prefer cooking with banana because it's just a really nice natural sweetness, but the apple is a nice sweetness too. Rachel, can you get a fork and start mushing this banana?
Okay.
This recipe takes about 2 bananas, so we need 2 cups of flour. Whoops.
daisies. Ooh, it's the
One cup?
donut zone.
2 cups. Can you shake the cinnamon?
That's
so we
fine,
can
yeah.
add a bit of cinnamon?
Fine, I guess
For the kids, I would do about half a teaspoon of cinnamon. For myself, I would do at least 1. So 2 teaspoons of bicarb soda. 1 cup of rolled oats. Half a cup of brown sugar. Now you can use raw sugar if you like, but I do really like the brown sugar. Okay. Zoe and Rachel, you can crack an egg each.
And then I can go
You
back.
can't. No.
And then I can get back to mushing my banana. Ooh, I get the
Okay,
water.
so 2 eggs.
Correct.
And just for the record, I know it's my girls helping me cook. My son did have the option, he just chose not to. So I'm not being sexist. It's just that the girls wanted to cook and he is reading a book. 3/4 of a cup of natural yogurt. 1/4 of a cup of oil. I am going to use coconut oil and a little bit of olive oil. Now 1/4 of a cup is also not a whole lot for a recipe like this. Because it's got the banana in it, that sort of adds that extra moisture to it so that you don't need quite as much oil. So adding mushed fruit to stuff is really helpful in terms of health. Okay, and then we just add the wet ingredients to the dry ingredients, and then we add in the banana, and we just mix. Now we're going to split this recipe in 2 because we're going to add in sultanas to one recipe and blueberries to the other, because this one doesn't like blueberries. Everyone likes sultanas. My son particularly likes blueberries, so we're putting them in for him.
Little chicken.
So frozen blueberries, they are by far the cheapest way to go, and I find that they're great. Would you like to mix that?
Yes.
And Rachel, did you want to mix the one with the sultanas?
Yeah.
So just as much sultanas as you want. There's maybe half a cup in there.
Hundreds.
Yeah, we'll probably get about 20 cupcakes out of that. And again, these freeze really well, so we will freeze them, and this way we can pull out different things every day and we're not baking like every single day. It's good to try and do all the baking on the one day, because then you just have the one set of dishes and you can kind of use things more than once without necessarily having to wash them, and it's just overall it's so much quicker and easier. Here are our sweet potato muffins. I got 22. I ended up cooking these for about 30 minutes on 160 and they're looking pretty good. We'll get back to you later with the taste test. And here are our banana muffins. We've got sultana and blueberry. Hey guys, what do you think?
It tastes good.
Yeah, they delicious?
Really good.
Oh, good. Jessica, what do you think? Is they yummy? Yeah.
That's good, huh?
Cool. Yay. Here is the breakdown of what our sweet potato muffins cost us. So I bought sweet potato when it was on special for $2 a kilo. So for how much we used, that's 80 cents. We got the eggs for 70. Brown sugar would have been about 20 cents. Oil or butter, 40 cents. Now I used expensive oil, and if you use butter, that's quite expensive too. But if you used canola oil or something, that would be less than half that. Got vanilla extract, it's like 5 cents. The natural yogurt, so on and so forth. I put baking powder just as 1 cent because I don't know how much it was, but I was just rounding out the figures because something else was like, yeah, the plain flour was 44 cents. So your choc chips are fairly expensive, and whatever extras you add in, I overestimated for that. I put in 80 cents, but I probably didn't spend quite that much. But like I said, usually I'd put in more like flax seeds and stuff, so it would work out to be about that. So the whole recipe was about $5.75, and divide that between 22 muffins, we get 26 cents per muffin. Then we've got our banana and oat muffins. Again, you can see the breakdown of all that. These actually cost me significantly less than what this says because I got the bananas for free from Food Care. The wholemeal flour was also cheap from Food Care. And the natural yogurt I got on quite a good special, so it was a lot less than that. So I'll put how much it would be if you paid for things at full price. So that recipe was $5 and that made about 20, so that means that's 25 cents per muffin, but it cost me 16 cents per muffin. To give you a bit of an idea of what you'll be saving by making these muffins, we will eat these muffins instead of things like muesli bars. Your average muesli bar costs between 40 to 80 cents. The really expensive, healthy granola ones can be like $1.20 each. So ours cost 25 cents. You can get the really cheap, nasty muesli bars for about the same price, if not possibly cheaper than the ones I make myself. But yeah, if you read what's in them, it's not a whole lot of real food, and I would just stay away from them if you can. But again, it's whatever works for you and your family. So I've been able to give you a recipe that we use that the kids absolutely love and is quite healthy, really. So for a really good, wholesome, balanced snack, I would give my kids one of these muffins with a piece of fruit or some veggie sticks. And if you think the piece of fruit would be, because I only buy them when they're in season and on special, you would be spending no more than 50 cents for the piece of fruit. That's a good, hearty, wholesome snack for about 75 cents. And it will keep them going until their next meal, which is what you want with kids, because we all know that kids can be hungry little things and want a snack all day. But you know, if you've given them this, they're good to go. I hope your family enjoys making these as much as mine did.
Wait, that's my camera.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Whose camera is it there?